So like I said, I've had my car for quite a while, and I've had an issue with it for a long ass time. I want to tell you something that happened. So I was driving one time. I was on the way to my friend's house, and let me tell you, the cars, maybe 3 or 4 years in a row, they made them with one major problem, a cooling overheating kind of thing. And so what happened is one of the many things that go wrong with the cooling system went wrong and left me on the side of the road. And it was pouring down rain, and I was panicking. I did something really stupid, and so I lost the engine. Long story short, I poured cold water in, in this tank. I'll show you this tank here. What happens, this thing will overheat really, really quickly on you. And so I poured water in this tank, and it came out of the car. I just had it in the trunk. And when I did that, it was way too hot, and I messed up the engine. So I had to have another engine put in there. And I had these, it was real cheap labor. I had these dudes do it. So I wasn't expecting much. Long story short, I had this issue ever since the engine was swapped. And I was always under the impression that maybe I got the wrong engine. But I could tell that this is an M54 and, B25. So it's the engine I'm thinking it is, because the other one would have, it'd either have a metal case, the M52, the oil cap would be over here on this side. Long story short, I thought that it was the engine. And so the computer, I thought maybe the computer wasn't compatible with this car, because I think the engine came out of a 2003 and this is a 2004. And so long story short, I've had this problem for a long time, and come to find out, these things right here were the issue. Alright, so you have these O2 sensors. I don't know if you can look down and see, but you have bank 1 right there. And then you have bank 2. Let's see if I can cut it on the light. That's bank 1. And then you have bank 2 right here. And as you can see, both of these are wrapped in this plastic. It has 4 total. Alright, so there's 2 up here, and there's 2 down there below the catalytic converter. So these 2 that are below the catalytic converter, one's gray, one's black. Okay, so we already discussed you have bank 1 that controls cylinders 1, 2, and 3, and then you have bank 2, which is 4, 5, and 6. So I had these 2 swapped. Long story short, I used ChatGPT to find out that, and don't worry about these. I accidentally left them behind in an area I shouldn't have. When I was working on it the other day, I didn't realize that it was touching the exhaust. And that's a very common issue, but it didn't mess it up, thank God. Long story short, I melted a little bit, but they're still functional, so don't worry about that aspect. But yeah, they are cooked. They're quite expensive, so I'm not going to rush out and buy another one just for that when they still work. Long story short, no, I say that a lot, but both of these are black, and so they have the same part number. You see how they're both square? These are both round. Alright, so you can't mess up and plug those in to the square, because it's just not going to work, So, like I said, there's bank 1 and bank 2. And so the person who put the engine in, I didn't think anything of it because I didn't do it. They had these swapped. So this whole time, the engine's been getting information which it thought was coming from this area, but was really coming from this area, and vice versa. So it's never ran right. It's always been like up and down. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still runs good and has power, but it's just not the way it was when I first got it. Because that thing will fly, I'm telling you. It's like a race car, I'm telling you. What was I going to say? Anyways, I swapped those out. I was having all kinds of misfire codes and all kinds of issues, and now those codes are gone. But I do have one code left, and this code is cylinder misfire on number 3. Alright. And so there's this little cover they put over here. I'm going to get the cover off. Alright, so these are called coil packs. And so deductive reasoning is what a good mechanic would use. In this scenario, since it said cylinder 3 was not working, which is this one right here, this right here is called a coil pack. This pops off and this pulls out. And you can get this from AutoZone or, order it online. But these supply electricity to the spark plug that's down there. See that spark plug? So this coil pack, what I did was I had the car running, and to figure out what was going on with this one, there's three variables. You have the spark, you have the power, you know, that's going to the spark plug, and then you have this over here, which is the fuel injectors. So that's a little bit more challenging to get that out than it is for me to take the spark plug out. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Since I've already, what I did is I just switched number 2 and number 3, and I could just tell whenever you unplug it, the engine immediately dies. You know, like you could just feel it, it just kind of cuts out. But whenever I unplug number 3, nothing happened. You know, you unplug it, nothing happens. So long story short, I determined that it wasn't the coil pack because this coil pack worked over here. I swapped them and it still worked. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the spark plug. Like I said, it's been running crappy and I had those swapped. And I think the spark plug is going to be fouled out. I think it's going to have a lot of gas that's been pouring into that cylinder that hasn't been burning. Or something. So we're going to just check it out and see if that's what it is. Either it's that or it's this injector potentially. So I'd rather do this, it's a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and do it. It's pretty easy. One second. Okay, so I got my socket here. And put that cap back on so nothing happens. I bet it's covered in oil. We're going to find out. This thing's supposed to have a magnet on it. It's supposed to just pick it right up. Let's see, can I get it? No, it's like fishing. I have this magnet. Let me go get it. Damn, I almost had it. That's stupid. Alright, I made this a while back. There's a magnet here on the end. Let's see if we can get it out with that. Boom, there we go. Alright, let's check it out. This thing is not firing at all. Wow, look at it, it's all gooped up. No wonder it can't fire, it can't function. It's fouled out. So we're going to try to clean it. Let's see if I have some kind of brake cleaner or something to clean this with. So I'm going to get it clean. I have some cleaner here, but I think that's for, yeah, it's not the same. It might do something. Oh, God. Let me brake. $10 a piece. I hate to go buy a new one, but I guess I could just go buy a new one and stick it in and see if that fixes it. That's all I'll do. Alright, stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Let's see. NGKR BKR6EQUP.